roll through to Paul Farm, and it's still Salford 1, Stevenage 0.
Salford 1, Stevenage 0 then, as we hone in on half-time in this game, and Salford are beat very happy. Since they went 1-0 up, there was another chance for them to go and double their advantage. It was Disaruvwe again, the goal scorer. It was Toll had the ball on the left-hand side, gets onto his right foot, whips a ball with a bit of flight towards the far post, and Disaruvwe gets above his marker, which is Jamie Fielding, but from around sort of 6-7 yards out, he nods it over. Probably should at least hit the target, if not score. As for Stevenage, they're struggling to create. They've not had a shot on target as of yet. They have had a ball in the back of the net, but Sanupe was adjudged to be offside, which replay showed that he was. It's still 1-0 to Salford.
Yeah, Stevenage have it down the right-hand side with Wilding. Just trying to play it into the channel, looking for Eonton, who can't really get into the game. Good defending by Piagiani, who uses experience there just to see it out of play. And it'll be a Salford goal kick. They take it quickly to Wiseman. Wiseman then rolls it back to Piagiani, who has to complete his clearance hurriedly. Long ball downfield again. Salford generally are, for me, playing quite direct to begin with, and then when they get it up towards Rooney and maybe Disaruvwe, they then look to try and hold it off and play the sort of shorter stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Disaruvwe's got good height on him, as does Rooney, so if those two can get a little flick on it, and because the fullbacks are playing so high up, there always seems to be a man available. And yeah, it's good play by Salford. It's a game plan that's working for them at the moment. Stevenage, nothing is really coming from their centre of midfield at the moment, and you look at their two strikers. I mean, Guthrie's barely done anything in this game.
No.
And Sanupe, although he's pressing and running around a lot, he's, like I said, not getting much service from behind him.
Good defending from Nathan Pond there. Long ball up from Stevenage. He just got his head onto it to guide it back to his goalkeeper Chris Neal, as Salford come forward again, and it's with Mark Shelton, who's beginning to see a bit more of the ball, and Wiseman down the right hand side is the outlet for Salford. Good ball towards the back post. It's left by Wilding. It's picked up on the left by Toure. He just tries to get past his man, and he can't quite do so. But Wiseman has had a very good half down this right hand side. He's always available. He's the outlet, and he's got a decent delivery. Yeah,
that was a good ball in from Wiseman. I thought, really, if that's Disaruvwe at the back post, he may have been able to get on the end of that one. The Stevenage defender, when he left it, you thought that is a risky one to leave. Whether he's got a shout, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's a good ball in there. And certainly, I mean, he was never present last season. Was Wiseman in their successful promotion campaign? As
Salford have a throw in, and again it's thrown in long towards the edge of the penalty area, dealt with by the Stevenage defence and cleared away. I thought, yeah, he's a Gibraltar international, is Scott Wiseman. I've covered a few Gibraltar games actually, and I thought he looked familiar from there. The 33-year-old. They played the Republic of Ireland not so long ago. Wiseman,
like a Danny Higginbottom. He was a Gibraltar international.
Yeah, and he's got a bit of quality about him. There's no doubt about it. Ball in midfield, going to be a free kick to Salford for a foul on Shelton. I have to be honest, I don't watch an awful lot of lower league football, James, and what I've noticed about this match is the physicality of it compared to the top level. There's I suppose it's just obvious that maybe the quality drops that little bit, and there's a lot of sort of even match teams, and there's lots of balls bouncing around and contested headers that we don't see as much of in the Premier League and the Champions League, as Salford work it down the right hand side to Shelton, who tries to get across and blocked by Stokes. It's going to be a corner this to Salford. In fact, no, it's a throw in just down by the corner flag. We'll bring James in a second as Wiseman has it again. Another cross, decent ball in towards Maynard. Maynard just tried to guide a back header into someone's path, but he can't quite do so, and Stevenage just about clear it. But Salford are very much on top here.
They are a very, very good passenger play for them. Since they've gone ahead, Stevenage have just, the lads have dipped a little bit because they're not creating. But yeah, physicality mentioned before. There's a lot of fouls, or not. There's a lot of challenges, I would say, that would get given as fouls in the Premier League and even Championship. But I think it's good. It's good to watch. I mean,
it's like proper football.
It's a contact sport, isn't it?
Here's Wiseman again on the right hand side. Decent first touch again. He just tries to win a corner off Stokes, but he has to settle for a throw in. The man of the half so far, no doubt about it, has been Scott Wiseman, the right fullback, the attacking fullback for Salford. He's got it again down by the corner flag, and again he plays a fairly decent ball in, looking for Maynard, cleared away by Fielding, and now Sanupe will try and chase down the left hand side. He's fouled surely by Nathan Pond. In fact, it's Guthrie, isn't it, who nearly got on the end of that. He's taken out by Pond, a little bit cynically, it has to be said, because he lost his foot in, Pond.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, Pond had that sort of challenge against, or the challenge he made on Snoopé for the penalty that wasn't given before Salford scored, and now Pond's, well, he's down on the deck at the moment, and whether he's just felt something when he's gone over. But yeah, Guthrie was just making a menace of himself, and it wasn't the greatest defending from Pond.
No, just a bit of a tangle of legs, in truth, in the end, that saw Guthrie go down. He also had his, well, he had to say that it was a tangle of legs. Looking at the replay, he shoved him over as well on his back. And Guthrie got himself up quite quickly. I think he wanted to try and carry on because he knew the ball was there. However, it was a free kick, and rightly so. And Pond has come off worse there, even though he was the man who committed the foul. A little bit of treatment for the the Salford defender, but this will be a Stevenage free kick, as we're going to see. In fact, we're going to see a substitution just before half time here, and it's a little bit of a surprise. And it is an injury here to Dean Parrott, who's limping off slowly. So Dean Parrott's going off and Paul Taylor is coming on. So Stevenage forced into a change just about 2 minutes before the half-time break. And Paul Taylor is on. And Paul Taylor immediately, the number 25, comes on and places the free kick down as if he's going to take it. So looks like he's got a bit of a point to prove coming off the bench. Taylor over this free kick, it's just left of centre, but a decent position, swung in, decent ball in, towards where Snoopé was, headed away by the Salford defence though. Must have been injured there, Dean Parrott, James.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the fourth official was just putting up a really early
yeah, I thought,
I'm thinking, no, I can't be putting that up already. But yeah, Paul Taylor, I mean, he's much travelled, I think that's fair to say. He's a striker, so it could mean that Emmanuel Snoopé drops back out to the wing, and you have Taylor and Guthrie up top as a two. But looking where he's been, I mean, he started in Man City's youth ranks but didn't make it there. But he's been at Anderlecht, he's been at Peterborough, Ipswich, Rotherham, Blackburn. So he's been around a bit.
He'll have been loaned out to Anderlecht when he was at City, wouldn't he? Because I think they have a bit of a tie-up with Anderlecht in Manchester City. Into the final minute then of the 45. Salford 1, Stevenage 0. Goal from Dier Sarouve on 29 minutes, giving Salford what looks like being a deserved half-time lead. Stevenage will try and just mount one final attack down the left-hand side, fielding with the throw, but he throws it back into his own half to Chris Stokes, who goes back to goalkeeper Farman, and Farman on the right-hand side gives it out to Wilding, and now Stevenage will try and build slowly. They're running out of time at the end of this first half. They trail by a goal to nil. Ball hoisted forward up towards Guthrie. I have to say that's really poor from Guthrie. He had a lot of time there to either take the ball down, head it onto someone in a black shirt, but he kind of did neither of the two. He just kind of jumped and recklessly got his head to it, but it meant that it dropped then out of play, and it'll be a Salford throw-in. And Salford are going to take their time with this throw-in because they know that the first half is almost up. With Nathan Pond, the man on the throw-in here, he's taken a good 20 seconds at least already, as 2 minutes of stoppage time is signalled. And the throw-in, it's Pierre Gianni who's going to take it. In fact, no, he's going to give it to Wiseman now. And Salford are just, I think, trying to almost see this one out now to half-time. Not that they're under any particular pressure, but they're just trying to manage the game. And if they get, of course, to half-time, then it's a huge boost for the League Two new boys. Long ball played down the left-hand channel, headed away by Cuthbert. Surely there's a foul in there, and it's Towell who has given the foul away and is then booked. So a little bit of a disappointing end to the first half for him. As we look at it again, he goes down. Let's look at it. Oh, it's down for it. He goes down for it. Ball's there to be and then out of play again on this left-hand side. I have to say, that will be it. Although there was a booking in stoppage time. Let's get 30 more seconds. In fact, we are, as Sanupe plays it back out onto the right-hand side. A throw in again to Stevenage. The dying embers of this first half. Salford lead by a goal to nil. Stevenage need to get on with this throw in. Plays into Taylor. In fact, as it's played back out towards Wilding, the referee has blown up for half time. Salford back in the, or first time in the Football League, lead Stevenage by a goal to nil at half time.
Half time when it's Salford.
Right, so as first half ended is 1-0 to Salford. Comment your thoughts on the first half below. Unfortunately, because the internet at my house is just playing up, it just I only could start it fully like 10 minutes before the end of the half. But hopefully it should be fine for the rest of the day. And also I'm going to be doing live streams for Fulham versus Barnsley at 3 o'clock. And I'll be like keeping like track of every other score in the 3 o'clock kickoff. So I'll let you know how your team's doing if your team's playing at 3 o'clock today. Then also at 5:30 I'll be doing Nottingham Forest versus West Brom. We had 12 people at one point, like when the internet was playing up, and then the stream just randomly crashed, which was really annoying. But hopefully they can come back in the second half. But if you are, I can't even see. But if you are gonna leave now, hit the subscribe button so you can find my channel easily if you want to listen to the commentary for the second half. If you are gonna go, because it's half time, so just join back in like 15 minutes. So at around 20 to 2, just join back and then the commentary should be back up. Josh Taylor says he's back, so welcome back to the stream. My prediction at the start of the game was a 1-1. I still think it will probably be 1-1, but Salford look like they've done very well. Unfortunately I couldn't like see like what was happening in the game, because my internet, I was trying to sort that out for half of the first half, but it looks like they're doing alright. They're obviously winning, so they're looking good for their first ever game in the Football League. I'm not sure what to do for 15 minutes now, because yesterday at half time in the Middlesbrough v Luton game I had 42 people in the stream at half time, so they were like commenting questions like every like 10 seconds. So if you are in the stream, you have any questions you can want to ask me, just comment in the chat and then I'll answer all of them. We've only gained one subscriber as well this half. I would say our goal for the end of the game is 1,265, so if we can gain 7 subs by now until the end of the game, that'll be good. I'd say that's a decent amount of subs for a League 2 game, gaining 8 subscribers. So hopefully we can do that. Can you do Leeds v Salford in the Cup? Let me have a look what day that is, and depending what other games are on, maybe I will be able to. Depends if I can find commentary for it as well. I'll look at fixtures, so we'll go to Tuesday. Tuesday we have EFL Cup, Portsmouth versus Birmingham. I might do that. Wednesday there's no games really. just European games. And I'm not going to do any European games because of copyright that happened last year when I did Chelsea v Dynamo Kiev or so. When I got banned for streaming for 3 months for no apparent reason. And then also on Thursday we have about 30 Europa League games. And there's nothing there. And then Friday's when the Premier League starts. I'll do Liverpool, Norwich. And Saturday I'll do the Premier League games, because it's the first week of the Premier League. But at the 3 o'clock kickoffs I'll let everyone know about the other scores in like Championship, League 1 and League 2. And then Sunday I'll do the Premier League games again. And I'm assuming this is the week then when the EFL Cup is, because there's only one EFL Cup game like next week, which is Portsmouth Birmingham, which is quite weird. There's no games on Monday. And that's when the EFL starts, so look what games are. Jeez, there's tons of games. I'm assuming Leeds will be one of them, because Leeds are one of the better teams in the first round. And they're playing Salford, so I'll probably do commentary for that one, because that will probably be a commentary for that day. There's tons of games there. I don't see any of these other games though being like used for commentary, except Leeds. I mean, maybe West Brom Millwall might, I don't know. Bristol City QPR. Stoke Wigan. Yeah, I think I'll be able to do Leeds v Salford that day. And then Wednesday we have the Super Cup. And then Thursday is nothing. And Friday I know you've done a... Yeah, Leeds v Bristol City's tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, let me have a look. So, it's 4th August. Yeah, so at 3 o'clock tomorrow is Liverpool v Man City. I'm going to do commentary for that. And the second that game finishes, I'm going to do commentary for Bristol City versus Leeds. So that game will kick off at 3, half time will be around 4:45. Then it will start again at like 4:05. And then it'll end at like 1:45. So I'll start it around 15 to 20 minutes into the first half of the Bristol City versus Leeds game. Who's the goal scorer for Salford? Let's find out. Dicer, I'm not even going to try and pronounce him, but he scored. Let's look at the lineup. There's been one change as well. Taylor, I believe, has come on for Parrott. I think there was an injury or something at the end of the first half. And then there's a yellow card for Tau for Salford, and that's the only yellow card at the moment. The possession is 55% to Salford, 45% to Stevenage, and then shots. Salford having 8 shots, Stevenage 0. Shots on target, 3 for Salford, 0 for Stevenage, obviously, so they've had no shots. Let me just sort that out. So it looks like Salford are just all over Stevenage at the moment. Corners, Stevenage are winning 3-2 in corners, and then fouls, Stevenage made 7, Salford 6. So at the moment, that will put in the league tables, that will put Salford top of the league and going up to League 1. And then Stevenage getting relegated to National League. I'm sure that won't happen. It will probably be like Macclesfield getting relegated or something. But we'll have to wait and see. It's the first game of the season. Salford looking pretty decent. Hopefully a few more people can join throughout the second half. I think I'm the only person streaming it, right? So it says Salford, that's just some link in bio. Okay? Same with that. This one says Werder Bremen versus Everton live stream. Don't know why that's coming up in there. There's 2 Werder Bremen versus Everton live streams in the search for Salford versus Stevenage. So it looks like I'm the only person streaming commentary. So hopefully we can get a few more views. When is the second half? When did the game kick off? It kicked off at 12:30, so it should be starting 4 minutes. It may be 5 or 6, so we'll have to wait and see. So in the next 5 minutes, the second half should be starting. But we just got a new subscriber, so thank you to whoever just subscribed. That is the one I'm watching. Wait, which one? Werder Bremen versus Everton? Oh, that's smart. If they're doing what I think they are, that's quite smart. Like, betting the title as one football game and then streaming another football game. That's quite smart, because that may avoid them getting copyright. So if they are doing that, I'm going to watch that whilst doing commentary for that. You're welcome, it was me. Thank you for the sub, Liam Sharp. Hope you enjoyed the commentaries. The second half should be starting in around 5 minutes, so... I knew this game wouldn't get much people watching because it's a League 2 game, but it did have 12 at one point when the internet was just annoying. Hopefully it should be fine from now on for the rest of the weekend, because I'm going to be streaming another 2 games today, and then tomorrow I've got 2 games to stream, and then Monday there's one, and then Tuesday there's one as well. You're watching it on my telly because I support Stevenage. Is it on like Sky Sports or something? I think it might be. Right, let me go on Sky Sports app. I'm assuming it is because it's the only game on in England at the moment. Yeah, it is, alright, that makes sense. I need to see because F1 qualifying's on as well. I want to watch that. Might watch that at the same time. To be honest, let me see what time that starts. Probably start at 2. Right, that starts in 25 minutes, so I'll be able to watch like half of the second half. you bought a season ticket, I'm assuming that you're only going to be going to the home games this season then, unless there's a local game for you. Where even is Stevenage in England? I don't even know. Probably up like near like Birmingham. Right, let's find out where it is. It's near Luton, isn't it? Oh, it's just above London, unless that's the wrong one. No, it's just above London. And you're in Leeds too, so you'll probably have some like away games that you're going to go to that are like an hour or two away. MK Don's got promoted, so you won't be going there. Cambridge is quite close to you, so you might go to that one. You support Leeds. Alright, the second half should be starting any second now. When it's on the bottom right scoreboard thing, once it says it's second half starting, I'm going to put the commentary back on. Right, so the second half starting now. I'm just going to put the commentary back on, and hopefully you guys can enjoy the second half. And if any of you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, because we're going to be doing more commentaries for loads of EFL and EPL games this season.
Change around with the formation you'd feel, but I think it's probably just a flat back four now for Stevenage. Van Kooten and Cuthbert in the centre back roles, with Wilden and Stokes alongside them. As for Salford, it's as you'd probably expect. Neil and goal, Turai, Piergiani, Pond and Wiseman, Maynard, another centre back. Shelton, Towell and Smith, with Disruvwe and Rooney. As for Stevenage, just trying to work at the ins and outs of where all they will be playing now, but it could very much be likely three up front for them as Salford come forward down the right hand side. The low ball in, and Disruvwe's missed it from around 3 yards out. Well, how on earth has he not got his second goal? Gets Aidan thoughts in a moment, as Salford is still in the attack down this left hand side. Little ball in field there by Smith. There's going to be a free kick now. There is going to be a free kick around 25 yards out. How on earth has he not got a second?
Well, first thing to say is that it's that man again, the right full back, Scott Wiseman, who delivers in perfect cross in. Disruvwe just needs to touch it in. Is it a bit of a touch from the defender as well, possibly, who gets a touch onto it? I'm not sure, but he needs to turn it in, doesn't he? There's two Salford players there. Wiseman, though, brilliant ball in from the right hand side. The move is kept alive, and eventually then Salford win this free kick. So good confident start again by Salford at the start of this second half.
Yes, indeed, but well, he's no more than 3 yards out. Disruvwe, all it needs is just a touch, and that's in the back of the net. That's 2-0, and they would be very much in a commanding position. They take this free kick short, then it's whipped in towards the right side of the box. It's not a backing by Gipiani. Oh, nearly shot there as it comes in, and it's into the back of the net eventually, and he's made up immediately for his terrible miss around, 45 seconds ago, because Disruvwe has fired it into the back of the net from around 6 yards out. There was all sorts of panic in the Stevenage 6 area there. It was Piergiani who nodded it back across goal, and it dropped eventually for Disruvwe, who fires it in.
Yeah, what a start to the second half for Salford. Poor defending from Stevenage, you have to say. The free kick is worked short and then clipped into the penalty area, headed goalwards. Disruvwe has 2 bites at it. The Stevenage players can't get near him. He picks himself up and he puts it into the back of the net. And, he's bouncing around the Stevenage defence. Terrible defending from them. Disruvwe says thank you very much, James.
at the start of the second half. It's been a fantastic start for Salford because they've doubled their advantage. Salford 2, Stevenage 0, and it's that same man, Emmanuel Adisaruvwe. He could have had a second around a minute before he did eventually get his second. There was a lovely ball in again from the right hand side by Wiseman, and there is Adisaruvwe 3 yards out, and he misses the ball, but they managed to keep it alive. They get themselves a free kick. It's then worked into the penalty area. Piergiani just nods it back across the 6-yard box, and then there was all sorts of terrible defending in there for Stevenage. Eventually, the second bite of the cherry for Adisaruvwe from around 6 yards out. He fires it right-footed through the legs of the goalkeeper. Salford 2, Stevenage 0.
Yeah, and Stevenage need to respond now. A dreadful start to the second half for them. I mean, they were opened up down the right-hand side for the chance for Adisaruvwe, who couldn't convert the crossing from the right-hand side. Then they gave away a really sloppy free kick. And couldn't deal with it when it came in. There was a couple of players who just couldn't get it away. It might have been Soares and Cuthbert bouncing up off them, and Adisaruvwe had one shot that was blocked. He was on the ground, picked himself up, quickest to react, and fired it into the back of the net from inside the 6-yard box. Again, 2 easy finishes really from Adisaruvwe, but the defending from Stevenage, who are, let's remember, an established League 2 club who finished just a point off the playoff places last year, finding themselves now here 2 goals down to a side who have never played Football League football before.
Yeah, it's fairy tale at the moment for Salford, isn't it? Their Football League debut. They're winning 2-0 at home against, like you mentioned, an established Football League side in Stevenage. But, well, having made that change at the break, the Stevenage boss there, to try and mix things up, change the formation, get his side back in it, they've got a lot of work to do now. Still haven't seen enough of them actually in this second half to suggest what formation they're playing, because they haven't had possession in an attacking aspect. But with the forwards they've got on, Sanupe was playing alongside Guthrie at the start. Then on came Taylor, so Sanupe dropped wide, Taylor went up front, and now they've got Newton on instead of Fielding, who was a defender, so a forward for a defender. It looks very, very attacking. At the moment, Salford got the ball midway through their own half, and I think it is a 4-3-3.
They're a bit all over the place, Stevenage, to be honest. I think the fact that we're struggling to work out exactly where everyone's playing because they've been forced into making a few changes, maybe one was tactical, suggests that if we don't exactly know, then maybe Stevenage don't know themselves, because forward players have been brought on for midfielders and stuff like that, and it's just all very haphazard from Stevenage. Wiseman does well again down that right hand side, by the way, to get another cross in.
Salford still coming forward though, and a header on goal, and Adisaruvwe nearly had a hat-trick. Again, Stevenage, dreadful attempts to clear their lines. This time the guilty party is Newton, the recent substitute. Then a ball has just floated in.
Wiseman again, by the way.
Yeah, 7-8 yards out there is Adisaruvwe. He just couldn't quite get the power on it. It was a looped ball in from Wiseman, a good one. And again, if that's either side of the keeper, it's probably 3-0.
Yeah, it probably is. He possibly should have got it on target. I can't remember a match that I've seen recently, as Stevenage do have an opportunity at the other end. It's with Sanupe, but he can't control his header, James, and the chance goes begging foul. It'll be a free kick to Salford. But I'm struggling to remember a game where a fullback has played in as many dangerous balls in 51 minutes that Scott Wiseman has done. I think it's almost at double figures, and I'm talking the goal, I'm talking two or three other really good chances, corners and set pieces as well, and he's had a really, really good game, Wiseman.
He has. He's been the stand-up player. He's on the deck at the moment because Wiseman did get sort of a forearm to the throat. Just in the Salford chairman in the stands, Karen Baird, chairwoman, excuse me, chairwoman,
chairperson.
Yeah. Let's be very, very happy with what she's seeing at the moment. Salford 2, Stevenage 0. 52 just over minutes into this game, and Stevenage have got a hell of a lot of work to do if they're going to get back into this one. They still, from my reckoning, haven't had a shot on goal.
No, I don't think they have. I think you're right.
Chris Neal has had very easy afternoon.
Had that one goal ruled out, didn't they? That would have gone down as a shot, obviously.
Yeah.
They scored, but it was just about the right decision, we think.
Yeah, it was ruled offside, so yeah, it's nothing for Neal to do. There's been some dangerous-ish deliveries into the box, but they just haven't been able to get any proper contact on them, and either that or they've been cleared away by the Salford defence. So Salford come forward again. The ball nearly breaks to Rooney, but Stevenage do just about enough to try and clear their lines. It was Wilden who tries to smash this one down the line. It hits off Smith, who takes a bit of a knock towards the back of his head, out for a throw.
Yeah, the host broadcaster has got the stats up of this game, and they are showing that Salford have had 10 shots, 5 of which have been on target, 5 off target, and 1 block shot, so 11 I suppose in total. And you're right that Stevenage, the official stats are saying they haven't had a single shot, and that includes block shots, off target, on target. Stevenage need to raise their game.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got 2 things wrote down for them, and that was the penalty shout when Sinupe went through, and then the offside goal.
Yeah.
So obviously none of that counts, and yeah, it's just been poor in a creative aspect from them. As the ball low in from the left-hand side is cleared away by Cuthbert, the Stevenage skipper. Now Stevenage try and bring the ball forward there, as they have it in the middle of the park with Taylor. Looks like he's brought down, but fairly, says the referee, and Salford have possession back.
It's a good challenge in midfield by Smith. Slid in well, won the ball. The referee quite rightly allowed it to go on, and they're just quicker to everything, Salford. It's a bit of a cliche, but they look more up for it. They look better organised. They look, obviously they're 2-0 up, so they're going to be in a better frame of mind. They're going to be confident, but pretty much from kick-off, they've looked the more organised team and look the more livelier team.
Yeah, I'd fully agree with that. As a throw towards the halfway line, then Pond comes and gets his head to it. Then it's nodded back. Bit of head tennis between the two sides. Stevenage bring the ball down, and they try to feed it down the line, but there is Wiseman to get himself in the way. Just turns it away for a throw.
They're working so hard, Salford. They're closing down. They're not just pressing high in the final third. They're pressing all over the pitch. It's obviously their tactics, and it's really working for them.
Coming forward again now, though, with Towell as he's driving forward. Loads of space to run into now. He lays it to the right-hand side for Disaruve in the penalty area. Cuts onto his left foot there, outside of the right foot shot, and it's gone wide of the far post. Well, that was a brilliant opportunity for Disaruve to get his hat-trick. Lovely footwork, I have to say, but when you need a left foot, he tried to go with the outside of his right. Yeah,
I mean, again, a few things to say. For me, the Stevenage defending is terrible. They've backed off. They've given it away. They just don't look up for it at the minute, Stevenage. Towell does well, runs at the defence, works it to the right-hand side. Diasaruve cuts in field. He needs to find his man in the penalty area. Simple ball across goal, and it's 3-0. Instead, he goes for glory. I suppose he's on a hat-trick, so he's going to go for it. Chance goes begging.
Goes begging indeed, but Stevenage coming forward now as Guthrie can't bring it down on the edge of the area, and Wiseman again, brilliant play to run it out from the back. He does eventually lose it, but then he gets it back, but then Wiseman gives it away. A little bit of scrappy play there. I have to say though, it is a bit greedy from Disaruve, but if he just goes with his left foot, it's just a roll into the far corner. He goes with the outside of his right. He kind of toe pokes it.
Wrong option, wasn't it? Yeah.
Big wrong option, you'd say, and they won't want to be made to pay for that, as Stevenage can't keep a hold of possession on the edge of the area. This time it is Sinupe, as now they try and come forward. Salford there, and Rooney is just battling away there with Wilden, who does just enough, the right back. It was initially, I thought, a poor touch by him, but he's got enough strength to hold off Rooney, as Wilden tries to come forward down the right, but Toure gets a good challenge in. And you mentioned before there the physicality in this game, and Salford, they're just showing they want it a little bit more.
Yeah, they are. Stevenage cannot get going at all, and I think that's partly down to the fact that they're not playing very well, but also down to the fact that Salford are not giving them any space at all in any part of the pitch. Every time there's a loose ball, Salford are all over Stevenage trying to close them down and win it, and there's a half chance for Stevenage, but it's no more than that, turned over the bar by Guthrie.
First shot for Stevenage, 57 minutes into this game. A nice little turn and effort, and it goes over, but at least that's something from Guthrie, who is...
He's had a poor game.
He's had a poor game. He's trying to make things happen. You've got to say, a striker, it is easier for them to look as if they're having a poor game, isn't it? Because they've got a lack of service behind them. They're not getting much from their teammates.
Yeah, I agree, but even when he's been getting the ball, he's been giving it away, so,
Maybe a chance now for Rooney as he has a shot on the turn there inside the penalty area. He's forced wide there, was the skipper, and he can only blaze it over the bar. Still, Salford 2, Stevenage 0 then, but the home side are well on top in this game. They are all hands to the pump. It's 100% effort from them. They're not allowing Stevenage any time or with the possession basically in this game. And really, it should be 3 if not 4-0 to Salford. Both of the more chances coming to Disaruve. There was a little clip ball in by Wiseman again. A bit more float on this one. Disaruve gets his header, but he can't really put it in the back of the net. And then there's a great chance for Disaruve because, again, they're defending from Stevenage's poor. Towell's allowed to drive forward there, lays it into the box of Disaruvwe. Great footwork as he's around the edge of the 6-yard box, but instead of going with his left foot, goes to the outside of his right and gets it all wrong.
As Stevenage do mount an attack here down the right-hand side, a hanging cross in from the right-hand side by Wildin, who's probably looked the best bet really for delivery for Stevenage. But the cross is eventually cleared, and then the other fullback who we've mentioned a lot today, Wiseman, gets one cross in on the right hand side. It's cleared away, and he's got it again down by the touchline, Wiseman, but on this occasion he can't keep it in, and it goes behind for, well, he can't keep it in, so it'll be a goal kick to Stevenage. Stevenage, if they're going to get into this game, James, they need to really raise the quality. They've already made 2 substitutions, so there's not many options either left for manager Dino Mamria.
No, there's not. It's just disappointing. I still can't figure out where some players are. I mean, Jonson was a centre midfielder in the first half. He's now seems to have moved out wide, maybe his more natural position. Tom Soers, don't know what he's done in the game, but it's not a lot. He's drifted out of it very, very badly. Can't get on the ball, which I think he was in there to do, was to be that little bit of a link between the midfield and the strikers, but again, just not being able to do it. And well, so far so good for Graham Alexander and his Salford side. A 2-0 win at the start of the season would be absolutely fantastic for them. Of course, all the games coming up later as well in League 2, Championship, all the Football League starting. Of course, the Championship started last night with a thrilling Luton 3, Middlesbrough 3 draw. But we do have the Fulham game is on today on this service there. Should be a very interesting one. Fulham, of course, so one of the favourites, I think, or the favourite to win the Championship title. As a long ball forward now finds Disaruvwe. Great chest control. The difference really that he's holding the ball up really well. Guthrie's not really doing that, and he tries to battle back, and he wins a free kick as well. And once again, it's just crazy defending. This time it's Tom Soers, and he's battling away with Disaruvwe on the right side of the pitch. Looks like he wins it, and then he just loses the ball again far too easily, pulls his man down. It's just dreadful defending.
Yeah, poor Stevenage. Been poor all over the pitch for me defensively. You know, all over the place, going forward, not creating enough chances in midfield, not keeping hold of the ball enough. You know, it's from back to front not good enough from a team that, okay, there's a lot of changes, but you know, again, I'll say it, they only finished a point off the playoffs last year.
Yeah, there's a chance now with this free kick though. It's a dangerous position, and then Stevenage seem to be doing this zonal marking. There was 6 Stevenage players just on the right on their 6-yard box, where the Salford players are on the edge and they're going to have a run in at them. I mean, this is just strange defending as they take this free kick short. Then it's whipped in by Towell towards the edge of the 6-yard area. It's flicked on. It's going to be picked up though. Maybe a chance of Pond. He tries to deliver it back in, takes the deflection out for a corner. I have never seen that defending. They were all holding hands along the 6-yard box.
Yeah, it's zonal marking, isn't it? Clearly just, you know, marking a space. People like to criticise zonal marking, but you know, there's a lot of clubs who still do it, and a lot of clubs it works for, but you've got to get it right.
Yeah, Torre delivers this ball in from the left-hand side after the corner was taken short. It's headed away. Good defensive header. Towell, though, picks up the pieces. And then back is Wiseman, of course, who goes towards Neil. And definitely a candidate for man of the match is Wiseman, although you always feel it always goes to the goal scorers, doesn't it? So with Disaruvwe getting a brace, it probably goes to him, but I would certainly give it to Wiseman. I think he's been a constant threat. He provided the assist for the first goal. He's just had a solid performance.
Yeah, he's been good. There's no doubt about it. I think still half an hour to go, so still could be anyone's really. If someone comes back and scores a couple for Stevenage yet, and they get themselves into the game, which doesn't look likely, then you know, they're going to be in with a shout as well. But you know, the pattern of the match continues, James, in that Salford are quicker, stronger, sharper, better on the ball, better organised. You know, they look much more of a threat, and I just cannot see Stevenage getting back into this match as it stands.
No, I have to agree. I can't see that happening either. Salford are just solid, and obviously they've still got 3 changes to make, so they can freshen things up. They can just, you know, shut up shop when it gets a little bit later on in this game, but they just look threatening coming forward because of Stevenage defence. Looks very, very shaky indeed. Long ball forward there. That's a great bring down by Guthrie though this time. Looking for support. Eventually it arrives to his right hand side with Wilden. He's looking to have a go at Torre. Tries to go back down the line, but the Salford left back is quick enough, and he gets half a block in there, and he does well there. And eventually Torre completes his clearance, smashes it over halfway. It'll go out for a throw. That's the difference. I mean, that was brilliant defending.
I was just about what I was going to say. The difference in that when Salford are getting into them positions with Wiseman and to a lesser extent Torbay in the left and right sort of attacking fullback positions, they're getting decent delivery in. When Stevenage are doing it, 9 times out of 10 the cross is being blocked at source, and that is telling its own story in that is why Salford are in front and Stevenage are behind.
Yeah, and Salford are coming forward again, and loads of room for Rooney down this left-hand side now. He'll cut in field, looking for a bit of support. Tries a reverse ball, looking for Disaruve. Can't find him though, it's cleared away. He did have Toure down his left-hand side a bit further as well, and the no-look pass didn't really work from Rooney. But, I mean, I suppose Stevenage are having to push a little bit more now, so there will be gaps, but, I mean, they're huge gaps they're leaving at the back.
Yeah, on this form, I've said it a few times. Haven't seen a lot of League Two football over the years, but looking at this, if Stevenage are a team that are established and have finished, mid-table, but not too far off the playoffs last year, and Salford have just come up, you've got to be looking at Salford and thinking they're going to be good enough to possibly be challenging for promotion. Making a judgment on one game or even 64 minutes of the new season is foolish, and who knows what's going to happen. But you can only sort of comment on what you're seeing in front of you, and Salford have been very good, very organised, very up for it, and Stevenage have been the complete opposite. Yeah,
you look at the league, there's a few teams are likely to be. Bradford are likely to be one of the favourites to go up there, having come down from League One. You're looking at others. I mean, Exeter come out to challenge Mansfield as well. At Northampton are one of our League Two specialist in the office. Are his tips to challenge for promotion. Keith Curl in charge of Northampton. Scunthorpe it can be as well. There's a lot of teams when you look at it, and there's always as well a surprise in there.
The
There's
surprise
always
could
somebody.
be Salford.
Yeah, Leyton Orient are in there as well.
Yeah, just come up.
They should probably do a little bit better. So yeah, you'd say that there's quite a few, but Salford, well, if they can get off to a good start, then who knows what can happen in the League Two campaign. As Stevenage try and come forward down the right hand side, Toure gets his foot to it, comes off him last though when Guthrie was challenging him, and it will be a throw almost level with the edge of Salford's penalty area. There's no real sort of tempo though to Stevenage. No. There's no pace that you'd expect them with the throw in there to be getting it quickly, throwing it, upping the level a little bit, but they're just struggling for ideas from what I can see at the moment there. Taylor has possession down that sort of right corner flag rail. Wilden then delivers a ball there. It's allowed to bounce and it's flicked on further there by Danny Newton.
He actually took it out of the path there of Guthrie. If he'd have left it, Guthrie might have had an opportunity. A little bit better from Stevenage this.
Yeah, Guthrie has it again, and then it drops down in the penalty area, and it's a Sanupe who has a shot, and it's a bit of a tame one in the end. And now Salford have got a chance to break quickly as Towell brings it up towards the halfway line. He's got the through run there from Disaruve, who eventually gets it. Towell and a couple others inside there. He goes towards the far post for Rooney. It's just over hit, and he can't get his head on it. Out for a throw. Again, that was good play.
Yeah, I mean, again, we are going to see the game being stretched now with Stevenage trying to push on and somehow get back into the match. And, they did have a few decent passes in around the penalty area. Then they lost the ball high up the pitch, so Salford are going to quickly break. Towell led the charge out onto the right-hand side to Disaruve. His cross towards the other side was just ahead of Rooney. But it was a good break from Salford. Towell down injured now, though.
Still Salford 2, it's Stevenage 0, and it's still the home side that are in the ascendancy in this one. Stevenage maybe seeing a little bit more of the ball, but not creating anything with it. Guthrie has had a shot, a twist and an effort from the edge of the area, but it went harmlessly over. As for Salford, well, a quick break a few moments ago when they won the ball inside their own area. It was Towell who brought it forward there, feeds a through ball to Disaruve down the right-hand side. He then looks for Rooney with a sort of fast, quick whip ball towards the far post. There's a little bit too much on it though, and Rooney can't get his head to it. So at the moment, it is all Salford, and they're very comfortable. Salford 2, Stevenage 0.
Yeah, Towell just down, getting a bit of treatment here midway through the second half as well, and it just gives the players the ideal chance to take on some fluids. It is a warm afternoon in Manchester, or Salford, which of course is its own city in the Greater Manchester region, and I think Towell might be okay to continue. We haven't seen shots of him yet. The camera focusing on Disaruve, who's going to go down as the Salford hero here if it stays as it is. Going to see another change, James, for Stevenage, which is a little bit of a risk in away from Mamria because he's made two early on, and he's going to make one now with still a quarter of the match to go.
Yeah, just seeing that, it's like it's Hussein going on to the field of play. Noir Hussein for Yonton, who hasn't really done quite a lot, I have to say. But that's the third and final change, like you mentioned there. So the number 12 onto the field of play. This will be here, just looking there, the midfielder coming on. 22 years of age, one of the summer signings, one of the 5 summer signings that was on the bench.
Yeah, Salford leads Stevenage by 2-0 as documented rise under the ownership and part ownership of Peter Lim and the class of 92, as they're known, the Manchester United legends of the Neville brothers and Scholes, who is here this afternoon. And it's been a day to remember for Salford as Stevenage play a ball into the penalty area, cleared away by Piergiani, and then Salford win a free kick. And they wanted to take it quickly there for a second. Mark Shelton thought about a quick free kick, but he was actually told by Martin Smith just to take his time there, and a good bit of experience in midfield just to slow things down once again, because to all intents and purposes Salford have got this game won, really.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to manage it. Don't need to do anything silly, do they? Just keep winding the clock down. They don't need to force the tempo in this match. It's Stevenage that need to do that, and they're not doing it at the moment.
Going to see a Salford change soon. Not sure exactly who it is who's coming on, but we'll of course update you on that when we see the substitution. Ball is back with the goalkeeper Paul Farman, the Stevenage keeper. Clears it long downfield. Well won though by Piergiani, who got there first. Stevenage pick it up in midfield, but that looks like a foul on Sanupe by Smith. It is, and it'll be a free kick to Stevenage. Salford 2, Stevenage 0. 20 minutes or so to go. We're going to see Adam Rooney going off, and it's going to be number 29, James.
Yeah, Jake Beasley coming on there, a like for like swap. Rooney, although Rooney isn't going off at the moment.
Well, 9 was shown by the fourth official. So Rooney, yeah, he is. I don't know what it was. Was he just waiting for the referee?
Wasting time. He's got his back towards the dugout, so he's just looking away from it.
Yeah.
And he stood, because now with the substitutions, it's not you pick the furthest player away. You have to go off from the nearest point where you're on the pitch. So
you don't have to go off at the halfway line.
But you've got to go off the nearest point of relief. So if someone's out in the corner flag at the far side of the field, they go off next to that corner flag and walk around. But Rooney's on the centre circle spot, and he just decided not to look at the dugout so he could waste a bit of time.
We've kind of gone back to old rules where I think players used to leave the pitch at the closest point, whereas now, as James is saying, we're back to that now, whereas it used to always be you had to go off at the halfway line anyway. These rules change from time to time as Stevenage have it in the right wing position with Wilden. He's trying to bat off the ball and maybe get across him, but he can't do so. And Salford clear. First touch there for the substitute just on Jake Beasley, but he can't keep hold of the ball, and Stevenage win it back in midfield. That looked like a foul by Pond on who was it? Van Kooten possibly, or Sanupe? I think it might have been Sanupe. Salford Stevenage have the free kick. They take it quickly. It's dismal again from Stevenage. What are they doing, James?
I mean, that is just panic. That is just panic, frustration. I mean, you've got a free kick in a dangerous position. Just load the box up, but they try. I don't know who it was that took that there. It was silly. I think it's Stokes potentially, and he just tries to take a quick one. If someone's on the same wavelength, that works brilliantly.
Yeah.
But they haven't been on their game today.
No, it's been poor from Stevenage. I have to say as well, poor them from the goalkeeper Farman. He got a little bit of a rushed back pass to him, but he could have done a bit better with it. Just plays it out of play and gives Salford the possession back with the throw-in. Ball bounced around the edge of the penalty area. Again, we're seeing challenges flying in, contested headers. Drops though to Smith with the shot that's blocked. Comes back out to Shelton. Shelton works a bit of space. We've got a Stevenage man down here, and the referee, I think, has decided to stop it because the player's down injured here for Stevenage, and he looked like maybe he was in a little bit of pain. Referee took pity on him almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge that comes in from Smith initially, I think it was there, and it did look like, they're both going in for the same ball. It did look like the studs were showing on both of them, he does catch him, actually. That should be a free kick. Smith is just the fraction late on Tom Soares, and the referee's missed one there.
Yeah, it was a foul. Not given by the, certainly not no yellow cards or anything given by the referee. We might see another one of these new uncontested drop balls now here. It's one of the newer rules that's been brought in.
I don't see the point in an uncontested one. If you're going to do an uncontested drop ball, just give the ball back to whoever had it before. Just do it that way.
Well, I think that's what it is, isn't it? It's going to be given now. In whoever's got the ball just gets it back in an uncontested, like. We're watching it now, you see, because it used to more often than not it was like the one player would step away and give them the ball back. But I thought it's supposed to be, because Stevenage had the ball, which I think they did. Surely this is Stevenage have it, but no, Salford had it and they're just launching it forward anyway. A little bit confusion as in the end it's with Paul Farman, the Stevenage goalkeeper. It doesn't matter really in terms of the rules. Stevenage are rapidly running out of time here. 17 minutes less to go of the 90, plus a little bit of stoppage time at the end, and they haven't looked like scoring all afternoon. They need to really raise their game. Clearance there by Pierre Gianni, picked up in midfield by Shelton. He's closed down quickly by Danny Newton, but he can't get anything on the ball. It'll be a Salford throw-in down the left-hand side. Reminder that, as James was saying earlier on this service actually this afternoon, there's coverage of Barnsley v Fulham in the Championship. And then action from the Community Shield tomorrow, Liverpool Man City, before the Premier League gets underway next week. You can get all the Premier League off-tube studio commentaries on this service throughout the season, as Stevenage chase the ball down into the corner flag here with Newton. Newton keeps it in play, the number 19, but can't get past Towell, who's back there defending. And this actually will be a corner.
Also got
Forest West Brom this evening, as James is just pointing out, quite rightly, the evening game in the Championship on this service. Corner to Stevenage, header in at the back post, there's a chance, there's a save by the goalkeeper, a towering header from one of the defenders, comes back out to Sanupe, who can't get his shot away, and that opportunity goes begging, but for the first time Stevenage force Chris Neal into a good save.
Finally, it's a decent ball in this time. We mentioned that Salford, an area weakness in their game today has been defending set pieces, and that's good. Towards the far post, header comes in, but it's a smart save by Neal down at his near post. And
then another shot just comes in there for Stevenage. They're finally testing goalkeeper Neal. Effort comes in, I think, from Soares from distance. Let's look at the replay of this one. The corner came in towards the back post. I thought it was Stokes. It was Stokes who got his head onto it. Down at his near post, Neal made a decent save. There's a little bit of rest. No, in fact, Newton it is. Sorry, with the header. Stokes was there as well. Newton with the header, and saved by the goalkeeper Chris Neal. So still 2-0, but Stevenage belatedly showing a few signs of life here as the clock ticks into the 77th minute nearly. Salford 2, Stevenage 0.
Yeah, that was good. That was the best chance there for Newton. He got away from his marker. It's a smart save low down at the right hand side there by Chris Neal, and then the shot that came in after that there looked to be from Newton again. Actually, maybe he had that shot, and he's got a bit of confidence in himself, bit of belief, and it wasn't a bad hit. It was just straight down the middle of the goal.
Graham Alexander's going to make another change here. The Salford manager looking at just freshening it up with the game ticking into the final embers of it, really. And it's going to be Towell who's going to go off. Richard Towell going off, and it's Luke Armstrong who will be coming on in his place. So bit of youth coming on rather than Towell, the more experienced player. James going to tell us all about Luke Armstrong.
Yeah, well, I was saying not a bad debut for Richie Towell there for Salford. Very, very good debut for him. So he's certainly going to be a big member of their side this season. Yeah, Luke Armstrong, 23 years old. He's arrived from Middlesbrough after his contract expired. He's had a few loan spells out at Blyth, Gateshead, Accrington, around those sort of areas.
Armstrong on then for the final 13 minutes plus stoppage time of the game as Stevenage chase the ball into the channel, but Hussein can't get on the end of it. It'll be a goal kick to Salford, who have managed this game well. Actually, you can tell that there's a good bit of experience here in the way that they're set up. In that, they've got themselves 2-0 in front. They had a few more chances as well, but actually in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes they've seen Stevenage come back at them a little bit, but they've been able to withstand the pressure. And when they're getting the ball, Salford, they're making the changes at the right time. They're slowing it down with throw-ins and stuff. And they look like a really well organised team. I've said that a few times this afternoon. And that is how this is playing out. As Shelton tries to play it in down towards Armstrong, the substitute, who's just come on down into the left corner, but it runs out of play. It'll be a Stevenage throw.
Yeah, I have to agree. Salford have been organised. They've been well balanced today. It's been made easier them for how sort of, let's say, lacklustre and laboured Stevenage have been. I mean, everyone uses their first game of the season rustiness, but you know what? They've had pre-season. They've played games. They should be well up for this. But it's just the difference in the feel of both of these teams. I mean, Salford have been 100% from the word go, where Stevenage have been. You probably said they've been around 60%. They just haven't really been on it. What's
been noticeable, as we've said it a few times in the commentary, is that Salford's pressing game has really forced mistakes out of Stevenage, but has also really worked for them in that they're not giving Stevenage any time on the ball, and they're working really, really hard. I'd like to see the stats afterwards from the amount of sprints and work rate and effort that the Salford players have put in, because I think it'd be quite a lot higher than the Stevenage players. And Salford have a free kick hit on the left-hand side. Again, they're just maybe going to try and take their time over this, which is no surprise. With 79 minutes on the clock, it's Smith who's probably going to deliver it in, although Toure is there as well. Toure steps away from it. Smith with the right foot swings it in towards the edge of or towards the penalty spot, headed away by Cuthbert, and then the clearance is completed by Taylor. Clips it down the right-hand side, can't keep it in play. It'll be a throw-in, I think, down the right-hand side. And we're seeing the manager, Dino Mamria. I think he went trying to chase the ball there, didn't he? Try and keep it in play. Camera didn't quite keep up with it. Didn't look like exactly what he was doing there, but he wanted to get the action resumed quickly because the ball was out of play, and it's going to be a Salford throw-in, and they are taking their time with things now.
Yeah, which you'd expect. It's like we mentioned, it's a hot day as well, so there'll be tired legs out there, and Stevenage is trying desperately to try and get something going. But bar the Newton header, which is the only shot on target they've had, they've not looked like scoring, unfortunately.
Toure has it here for Salford. Gets it back from the goal scorer, Diasaruve. And now Toure again plays it infield looking for Shelton. Well cut out by Newton. And Stevenage working again down the left-hand side here with Stokes. Stokes forced to go back into Newton. Newton tries to go past the challenge but can't do so. And then wins it back on the left-hand side. Decent looking ball up over the top for Guthrie to chase. Goalkeeper comes out though well and does his job. Chris Neal puts it out of play. 10 minutes to go. Salford 2, Stevenage 0. Comfortable as you like for the League 2 new boys. They didn't even win the National League. Salford had to come up via the playoffs, being filed in the the National League playoff final, and certainly quickly into their stride in League 2. And by the way, 3,416 apparently is the attendance for Salford in their first game in the Football League. Decent crowd.
Yeah, decent crowd. We mentioned there's empty seats around there, which is a little bit surprising, but yeah, I think it's a good turnout. That's just slightly more than what the game I covered the other night this evening, which was the Crusaders against Wolves, the Northern Irish side at Seaview, which is a fantastic little stadium. But there's a good feel with stadiums like this, isn't there? The atmosphere. I remember Fratton Park was born at Portsmouth. That had that sort of feeling of the crowd on top of you, and as a visiting team coming along, not a nice feeling. Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be a particularly nice place for visiting teams to go. Here is Moor Lane, or the Peninsula Stadium, as we've said it's been called, as Salford break down the right hand side again. Good ball in again, no surprise from Wiseman. Doesn't reach a red shirt though. Picked up on the left hand side by Toure. He's trying to run at his man on the left. He is blocked. Picks himself back up but can't get on the end of it. All very frantic at the moment. And not too much quality still really from Stevenage as they look to somehow try and get themselves back in the game.
Into the latter stages then, still Salford 2, Stevenage 0, and there's been little signs of life from the away side, but they have managed to have their first shot on target. It only took them around 70 odd minutes, but it was a corner whipped in from the right hand side, bit of flight on it, and there is one of the substitutes in Danny Newton, who gets away from his marker. It's a sharp header by him down to the left hand side, but there's the keeper in Chris Neal, who gets down well, parries it away. Eventually the danger is cleared Has been some changes made. Jake Beasley and Luke Armstrong on for Richie Towell and Adam Rooney for the home side. Noor Hussein has come on for the away side for their third and final change. Still Salford 2, Stevenage 0.
Yeah, just got a bit of a break in play here as some of the players again take on fluids into the final stages really of the match. Sores among them just getting a drink as there's a little bit of an injury worry here for Cuthbert, the Stevenage skipper. He might just be forced off here for the last sort of 10 minutes if we include stoppage time, although he's going off to, I think, come back on, getting a drink of water here as well. Cuthbert took a bit of a knock there, but looks like he will be able to continue.
Doesn't look like the lads that'll stay off, does he?
No,
he's a big unit.
He's your stereotypical lower league footballer who has been in around, can put himself about a bit, and probably won't be shy at putting in a tackle, but will also want to stay on the pitch as best he can. As Shelton clears it for Salford, chased down by Armstrong. He's closed down quickly by Toure. Toure does well to win it. And now in midfield here is Taylor for Stevenage. Stevenage almost get it through there towards Newton, as it was played through by Taylor. Two of the substitutes combining, but goalkeeper again, Chris Neal, read it well, James.
He did. He
Just
nearly
about.
drops it.
Yeah.
He spills it a little bit in his arms, and that's why Newton actually just pokes his foot at it, trying to get it away. But then he just managed to clutch it, Neil, and there's no bad feelings between them there because he had to go for it.
Van Kooten has gone down injured here now. The Stevenage number 15 under a challenge by, I think, the substitute or one of the substitutes, Beasley. And Beasley just caught him as they both sort of battle for the ball there. Van Kooten goes down holding his face. Not too much in it, I don't think. The referee's had a good game, hasn't he, Kevin Johnson? It's one of them where, he has had a bit to do, actually. There's been quite a few challenges flying in, quite a bit of physicality, as we've said a few times, but he's not really made a fuss, has he, the ref?
No, he's done well. He's only handed out one yellow card, I think it is. I've got down at the moment, which is Richie Towell. That was at the end of the first half. But yeah, apart from that, not a great deal has gone on in terms of bookings, but he's allowed the game to flow.
Yeah, one yellow.
He's allowed it. Yeah, he's allowed challengers to go in. He's been fair to both sides.
5 minutes to go. Ball is in the Salford penalty area, but neither Newton or Hussein can get on the end of it, and it's cleared away by Piergiani. Although that's a bit of a poor ball from Toure down the left-hand side, so he can't get anything on it. As Stevenage should mop this one up at the back themselves here, as they do with Van Kooten. Goes back to his goalkeeper Farman, who clears long downfield. Stevenage are just going to try and see this one out now, you feel, but I think their attacking ambitions have dried up a little bit in the last few minutes. Cleared away by Piergiani, and Newton battling for it. They have to settle for a throw in here, Stevenage. I suppose if they do get one, James, it would make an interesting finish.
Yeah, it would. It would definitely sort of put the jitters up Salford, wouldn't it, and make them just get that little bit nervous, a bit of tension, and you'd definitely expect Stevenage just to keep throwing the ball forward. But they haven't really done that, have they? They've not gone direct when they've been 1-0, 2-0 behind. They've tried to stick to this pattern of playing it along the floor, but there is a time in the game where you've just got to start lumping it forward. Wilding
and Sanupe combining there down the right hand side. Sanupe's eventual cross is blocked. It will be a corner to Stevenage in front of the majority of the visiting fans. I would say there's maybe a couple of hundred of them at least, as the corner comes in for the right hand side. Good header, won though by Piergiani, who read it well, got up well and cleared it away. Comes out to Van Kooten, the number 15. Cross comes back in towards the back post. Blatantly a little bit of pressure here from Stevenage. Ball comes in there from Hussein, but it's cleared away by Salford. And with only 3 minutes of the 90 left, it is going to be, we think, a good start to Stevenage in the Football League. Stevenage in front by 2 goals. Still off studio commentary of the League 2 opener here. Salford chase it down into the right hand corner with the man who's scored 2 today. Diasaruvi gets to it, tries to play it back in towards Armstrong. Well read in midfield by Newton, and now Taylor coming forward with the ball here for Stevenage down the right hand side, plays it into the channel, looking for Guthrie. Guthrie keeps it in play down the right hand side. He's closed down by Toure, and now back to Hussein. Hussein plays it in midfield to Taylor, low ball, and this could be a chance for Stevenage. Turn and shot by Guthrie. It's blocked, and it falls into the arms of Neil, but it might have just gone out of play before it does. It'll be a corner to Stevenage. We're seeing signs of life, but it's too late.
Yeah, excellent block by Nathan Pond there. He just gets a good challenge in, sliding in with that block, and Guthrie shot on the turn, hits him and goes behind.
Take the corner quickly, do Stevenage. Hoisted in towards the penalty area, towards the back post where Guthrie is, and also Sanupe, but neither of them can get on the end of it, and it's just into the arms safely again of Chris Neil. 2 minutes of the 90 to go, and Salford are edging, more than edging, they're on the verge of their first victory in the Football League. Ball is with the goalkeeper Chris Neil, and they're going to be celebrating not only being in the Football League but kicking off with a victory, as long ball downfield is played up towards Armstrong. It looked to me there like that Van Kooten had his arms all over Armstrong, although it might have been a bit of 50-50 to be honest. In the end the referees decided that it was a foul by the Salford man.
Yeah, getting towards the end of this one, and well, the providers of our TV coverage have given Desarouve the man of the match, which we thought would happen.
Yeah. I think if you scored 2 goals on the opening day in your first game in the Football League, you're going to get man of the match, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean Scott Wiseman definitely would have been second then, because he's had a cracking game, but he could have picked a few. I mean, Piergiani's had a good one at the back there. Pond has had a couple little errors, a little sort of nervy moment, so he probably wouldn't be in. But
I think Shelton's had a good game in midfield as well.
Yeah,
number 19. I think he's been busy as Threlkeld comes on for the final few minutes of the match. In fact, pretty much just going to be for stoppage time. Threlkeld on for Desarouve, who gets his standing ovation from the 4,500 I think it was, who have come out to watch Salford today, plus a few that have travelled from Stevenage. Going to get the fourth official very shortly to tell us how many minutes of added time there'll be. I would suggest no more than 4, as the clearance is completed there by Piergiani up towards Beasley and Armstrong. Now the 2 substitutes up front for Salford. Ball is back with the goalkeeper Farman, who just rolls it forward to Husin. In fact, where the referee is signalling for a bit of treatment here to be given to one of the Stevenage players, because he's got a cut just to the top of his eye, and the referee, when he sees a bit of blood, is forced to stop it, of course.
He is. 5 minutes of added time we've gone up on the board there.
I thought there'd be no more than 4, but
yeah. Just looking at the recent the bio then on Oscar Threlkeld. Threlkeld sounds sort of a name from a Europeanish name, but it's born in England, Bolton boy. Again, he's one of the summer signings that are on the bench, so he's come on. A rise from Vasland Beveren.
There you go. James knows all about the substitutes. Bit of a break in play as Newton was forced off there for a bit of a cut to above the eye. He's still off the pitch, actually getting a bit of treatment, but the play has resumed. We've played 1 minute of the 5 minutes of stoppage time already. The other games, by the way, in League 2 this afternoon: Bradford, Cambridge, Carlisle, Crawley, Colchester at home to Port Vale. It's Crewe versus Plymouth, Exeter v Macclesfield, Forest Green Rovers against Oldham, Leyton Orient, also newly promoted, against Cheltenham, Morecambe v Grimsby, Newport County v Mansfield, Northampton v Walsall, and Scunthorpe v Swindon. Plenty of teams in there, James, who have played further up the football pyramid. The likes of Grimsby, maybe Northampton in years gone by. Bradford had a spell in the Premier League, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oldham as well in years gone by.
Orient went in the Championship, didn't they? Then they had back-to-back relegations, and then they've just got promoted again. Yeah,
it'd be a fantastic achievement if Salford were to follow up their promotion from the non-league to potentially League One. They look like they're making the perfect start with nearly 2 minutes of the 5 minutes of stoppage time played, and they're just keeping ball here at Salford as Touré feeds it into Piergiani into Shelton goes back to Wiseman, who's largely been attacking today, the fullback, but he has to do a bit of defending there. Clears the ball down into the right hand channel, and the game is up here pretty much for Stevenage, who haven't shown enough, really anywhere near enough in this match, to be honest with you. A few sort of glimpses here and there, and the one really good chance, the header that forced a good save from Chris Neil, the header that came in from Newton, I think it was, and that's about the closest they've come, Stevenage. I have to say that I've not been particularly impressed with Guthrie or Sanud play. I think they've been poor up front and haven't done enough. And now Armstrong chasing one down here for Salford as they look for a third to really wrap things up. Armstrong in towards the edge of the penalty area. It's let run by Beasley, and now the shot will come in eventually from Smith. Eventually he got the shot away, but it's blocked. Poor again from Hussein, who clears away, and then an effort comes in from Shelton. He drags his shot wide, and that's never troubling the goalkeeper, and that'll be a goal kick.
Pretty much hits Beasley, his own teammate, on the way through there, but it was going well wide anyway. Yeah, so, I mean, this is perfect start, isn't it? A 2-0 win, first game in the Football League, at home, clean sheet. I'd like to see what Salford are like playing away from home, though, in League 2 this season, because this works for them, this game plan, this style, this press at home. They know the pitch, they know the surroundings, but away from home, I'll be very intrigued to see how they get on against some of the better teams, maybe, or even going to Stevenage to see how they do there. It's one of those where are they as good away from home as they're at home? I'm not too sure, because at certain teams, it's a fortress at their own ground, but on their travels, maybe that's where Salford may found it a little bit tougher.
Yeah, just looking at the fixtures for the rest of the month going forward. Salford next up are at Crawley Town next Saturday, whereas Stevenage are at home to Exeter. So that's how these two teams will play next weekend, as they look to well, from Salford's point of view, look to build on what has been a great first win, and Stevenage will need to bounce back, and it's going to be tough for them at Leyton Orient, you would think, because it's again going away to a newly promoted team, as Salford have to do a bit of defending here. Free kick for Stevenage, that sums up their day really. Free kick from Taylor, decent position, central position, get it into the penalty area, and he just kind of side foots it to a Salford player. Dismal.
It's dismal, absolutely.
I mean,
dismal.
Taylor has it back here, and then he gives it away again, trying to play it down in towards the channel. Stevenage have given up, and I think they've given up about 5 or 10 minutes ago, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they're going to get a rocket from Dino Marmuriel. They should be.
They should get an absolute rocket. Of course, Salford have got
dreadful.
The League Cup, Carabao Cup.
Here comes Salford for a chance for a third. Oh, that's actually a really good challenge in the penalty area. A really good challenge from the skipper Cuthbert on, was it Beasley? I think it was on Beasley. No, it was on Smith, who was just about to pull the trigger. He thought it was going to be 3-0. Cuthbert's brilliant challenge, timed to perfection, stopped him in his tracks. There was appeals for a penalty for some reason from the fans behind the goal, but I don't quite know what they were watching, because it's a perfectly timed challenge, even though he does take out the man a little bit as well, but he gets the ball. That's it. We've had the 5 minutes of stoppage time. It's finished. Great afternoon.
Right, so that's the end of the game. It ends 2-0 to Salford. Comment your thoughts on the game in the chat. And if you want to see more commentaries, I'm going to be doing a Salford versus Leeds EFL Cup commentary when that game comes along. So if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be great. Then you'll be able to easily find the thing. So right now I'm going to end the stream in 2 minutes, and then I am going to start another one for Barnsley versus Fulham. We'll be doing commentary for that game, and then I'll also be giving score updates in the chat for every other 3 o'clock kickoff game in the EFL. So we gained 2 subs that game. It's not bad considering I missed half the game because my internet. Are you doing one today? I'm assuming you mean... I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm doing 2 more commentaries today. 1 in half an hour, 1 in at 5:30 for that Nottingham Forest versus West Brom game. But a good win for Salford on their first EFL game. And Stevenage were pretty poor, to be honest. And Salford probably deserved the win. So that is where I'm going to end this stream now. I'm going to start another one in 2 minutes for Barnsley vs Fulham. So if you want to watch that, just keep on refreshing my channel until you see a thumbnail with the Barnsley and Fulham logo on. And then you can join that, and then I'll be doing commentary on for that one. So thanks for watching this stream.